very easy. All you got to do is just follow along. Lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, 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 la, lie, I lie, 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 lie. Second part. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, 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 lie. I lie, 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 lie. I lie, 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 lie. Hey, so before we go on, I heard some of you have those eggs. Those are really important, that you can make some rhythm with them. By the way, there's an ancient Jewish prayer practice I want to introduce you to. It's very simple. You take your right hand and your left hand, you go like this. And you do it kind of to the beat. So feel free anytime to clap with the music. It is kosher to do that. Here we go. I lie, la, lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, la, lie, lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, la, lie, lie. Woo! I lie, la, lie, lie. Ya lie, I lie, la, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie. I lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. Ya lie, lie. I lie, la, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie. Ya lie, lie. Here we go. I lie, la, lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, la, lie, lie. I lie, la, lie, yeah. I lie, I lie. I lie, la, lie, lie, I lie, lie, lie. I lie, I lie, lie. I lie, 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 lie. I lie, 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 lie. Yeah, lie, lie. I lie, I lie, I lie, 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 lie. Ya lie. Woo! I lie, la, lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie. I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, la, lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, I lie, I lie, I lie, I lie, I lie, lie. I lie, I lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. Ya lie, ya lie, I lie, la, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie. Ya lie, I lie, lie.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So tonight we gather with a special sense of gratitude. It's been 2 weeks and the weather here in Hawaii has kept us from being unable to come together for our regular in-person Shabbat services. There's also been a lot of uncertainty and disruption, and for many of us, a real sense of heaviness in the air. Plans changed, routines interrupted, and even when we found ways to stay connected, it's not always the same as when we're able to gather here in person as a community. And so being here tonight feels especially meaningful, and there is something sacred in returning, something healing in seeing one another again, hearing familiar voices, and feeling once more that quiet shift when ordinary time gives way to Shabbat. But before we continue with our service, I want to invite us all to just arrive here in this space. If it feels comfortable, let your feet rest fully on the floor. Maybe soften your shoulders a little bit. Let's all take one deep breath in. Hold for a couple of seconds and let it go. Letting go of anything distracting us from being present here in this moment. Let's take one more breath in, hold, and a gentle exhale. Notice that you are here. Notice the people around you. Notice this moment. Shabbat is our opportunity to pause and to breathe and to remember that we are more than the worries that we carry. It allows us to step out of the noise and into the presence of this time. And after 2 weeks apart, that invitation feels much deeper. Tonight also gives us another special reason for joy, because we are here not only to return to one another and to Shabbat, but to also celebrate Kevin's son and his bar mitzvah. So what a blessing it is that on this night of return, we also get to mark a moment of becoming, a moment of stepping forward, a moment of Torah, of community and joy. So as we begin this Shabbat, may we feel grounded in this moment. May we feel grateful to be together again. May we open our hearts to rest, to prayer, to song, and to celebration. And how good it is that we are here together. Let's join together with the words of Hine Ma Tov.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה יאללה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה יאללה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, יאללה לי 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 יאללה לה לה לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. Photo finish. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
As we begin our service and invite Shabbat into our space, we do so by lighting our candles. I'm going to invite Kevin to join us up here in the front. I would like to invite the immediate San family if they would like to join as well as we light our Shabbat candles and welcome Shabbat into our space. And we wave 3 times, welcoming in that peace, that presence, that beauty of Shabbat, and we'll join together in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav, b'tzivanu. להדליק נר של שבת.
Hold on a second. Lacha Dodi invites us to rise and greet Shabbat as we would greet someone beloved. And for us, after weeks of disruption, of weather, of distance, and changed plans, tonight that image may land a little differently. We know what it's like to miss being together. And so tonight, as we welcome our Sabbath bride, we do so with a little more tenderness, a little more gratitude, a little more joy. This is not just another Friday night, this is a moment of return for us, a moment to open the doors of our hearts again, a moment to remember that holiness often meets us not only in grand moments, but in the simple grace of coming back together, of seeing one another once again, and in singing side by side. So as we sing, we welcome Shabbat with fullness. Let us greet this sacred evening with beauty, with love, and the deep gladness of being together once more. Lecha Dodi can be found on page 138 or page 20. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on our 9th verse, I will invite us to rise and face our door as we welcome Shabbat into our sanctuary.
And if the Hebrew is a little challenging, you can always go la 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 la, because that's a universal Jewish word, la. Shamol v'zachor b'dibor echad, Emanu-El hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet b'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם משוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise, we face the door.
Feel the Shabbos queen. She's going to enter into everybody's hearts as we sing. בואי ושלום העטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Don't sit down just yet. Let's turn and let's wave at everyone joining us on the live stream. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Turn to your neighbor, someone across the aisle from you. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. I'll invite us to start making our way back to where we were seated, but don't sit down just yet. We're moving into the Baruch Hu. The Baruch Hu can be found on page 146 or page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. An la 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 la. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you understand? Can you thing? Am I awake? Am I prepared? I lie, 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 lie. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. Oh, yo, loy, loy. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. Lie, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie. I la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie. I lie, 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 lie. I lie, lie, lie. Lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. I la, lie, lie, lie. I lie, lie, lie. I la, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed.
You may be seated. Here, I'll put this up here. Yep, here. Yep. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the ways on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. And as heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. The Shema calls us to listen, not only to say the words, but to truly hear. All week long, our attention gets pulled in so many directions. Our minds race, our hearts are filled with worry, with planning, with distraction and noise. But Shabbat asks something different of us. It asks us to become still enough to listen beneath the noise. So as we prepare for Shema, let's take one quiet breath and remember that listening is itself a sacred act. Listening for God, listening for truth, listening for the still, steady pulse of holiness within our own lives. And tonight, after these past weeks of uncertainty and disruption, maybe the gift is simply this, that we are here, present enough to listen again. We'll join together in the words of Shema on page 152 or page 34.
Once again, yes, you could rise if you'd like.
If it is your custom to rise for Shema, we'll invite you to do so.
Let's take one more breath of Shabbos inside of ourselves right now. And then, isn't that good? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Very loud. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We'll turn the page to the Ve'ahavta, our love song to the divine. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshokbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. Mi Chamocha is our song of liberation. It's the song that our ancestors sang after crossing the sea, and it was music born at the edge of fear, at a moment where terror begins to give way to hope. Not every sea in our lives split all at once. Sometimes redemption does come more quickly. Sometimes it looks like making it through a hard week. Sometimes it looks like community, holding one another through uncertainty. Sometimes it looks like simply finding our way back into this room together. So tonight, as we sing Mi Chamocha, we can hold gratitude for every small crossing, every moment of resilience, every sign that even after storm and disruption, we are still able to move forward with faith. And we sing not because everything is resolved, but because we know what it is to keep going, and because we trust that the divine is present with us in that crossing. We'll join together in singing Mi Chamocha on page 158 or page 40.
As the Rebbe said, imagine we just got across the Red Sea and we started singing this song. We're so relieved we got through something difficult. So join me. Yalai, lai, yalla, la, lai, yalla, lai, 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 lai. Yalai, yalla, la, lai, yalla, lai, 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 lai. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, 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 lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, 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 lie. I lie, I lie, lie, I lie, 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 lie.
We'll keep it going with our music, with the words of Veshamru. Veshamru reminds us that Shabbat is not only a pause from our week, but it's also a covenant. This rhythm of sacred time holds us, renews us, calls us back to what matters most. And lately, it felt like the rhythms we can count on were interrupted. And when rhythm is interrupted, we can feel it. So tonight, as we return to Shabbat together in person, it's like stepping back into something ancient and steady, something larger than any one difficult week. Shabbat has always carried our people through every kind of storm. It reminds us that holiness is not fragile. Sacred time remains, community remains, covenant remains. So as we enter into these words, may we feel ourselves held once again by the enduring gift of Shabbat, a practice that has sustained our people, and by the blessing of returning to it together again and again. The words of Veshamru can be found on page 162 or page 44.
So first we'll just sing the nigun, just the la-la part. Lai la lai 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 ai la lai lai ya lai 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 ai lai lai. See, it's easy. I lai 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 ya lai ai ya lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai ai lai lai I lai lai ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai 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 I ya lai lai ya lai 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 I ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai 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 I ya lai lai ya lai 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 lai. Join me with the Shamru. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. איי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
As we prepare for the Amidah, we come to the quiet center of our service. The word Amidah means standing, but this is more than simply rising to our feet. It's an invitation to bring our whole selves into the presence of the divine. So I'm going to invite us all to please rise physically or spiritually, and we'll turn to page 164 or page 46. If it feels comfortable, let's feel our feet press gently into the floor beneath us. Notice that sense of steadiness beneath you. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands rest. Let's all take a slow breath in and a gentle exhale. As you stand, notice what you are carrying tonight: gratitude, relief, fatigue, joy, concern, celebration, prayer. Let all of it come with you. You don't have to leave any part of yourself behind. And tonight, as we stand in prayer, we also hold the joy of this sacred moment in our community as we celebrate Kevin becoming bar mitzvah. What a blessing it is to stand together in prayer on a night that holds both return and renewal, both community and becoming. So as we stand here with intention grounded in this moment held by this community, we open ourselves to the presence of the divine and ready ourselves to offer the prayer of our heart. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. We'll turn the page. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Haste Avot ve'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Maged Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel hayim behesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Vishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. I'll invite you to use this time to daven silently, using the words from our tradition or the words that are on your heart. When you are finished with your prayer, you may be seated.
Join me any way you'd like. You know, you always got to find the right note. It helps to play the right chord. Yehi l'ratzon imrefui ve'gion libi lefanecha. Yehiyu l'ratzon imwefi, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-ba-dum-bum, ba-da-la-la-la-la-la-la, ya-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, ya-da-da-da, ya-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, 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 ya-da-da-da. יהיו לרצון עמי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון עמי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי. Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri, Vegoali, Yalalai, Yalalalalalalai, 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 Yalalalai, Yalalalalalalai, 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 Yalalalai.
As we begin our Torah service, I'm going to invite us all to please rise physically or spiritually as we take our Torah from the Ark. It's my pleasure to invite up Matthew's son, who will be helping with Hakafa. If you'll come join me up here. We're going to be on page 364 with the words Ki Mitzion, or page 246. We'll join together on page 364. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim. Page 366. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'Kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlu Adonai iti, Unromema Shemo Yachdav.
Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Vehishtachavu, Lehar Kodsho, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Vehishtachavu, Lehar Kodsho, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Second paragraph on page 367. Al Shlosha Darim, Al Shlosha Devarim, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Our Torah is at rest. You may be seated. I'm going to be reading from Parashat Tzav, Vayikra Leviticus 6, verses 1 through 6. Let me find the right spot. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barak le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'netan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai al Moshe lemor. Tzav et Aharon ve'et vanav lemor zot Torat ha'olah hi ha'olah al hamukdah al hamizbeach kol laila ad haboker ve'ha'esh hamizbeach tukad bo ve'lavash hakohen midovad umiknasevad yalvash al basaro ve'herim et hadeshen asher tuchal ha'esh et ha'olah al hamizbeach ve'samu etzim hamizbeach ufashat et bagadav ve'lavash bebagadim acherim ve'chotzi et hadeshen al michutz lemachane al makom tehor ve'ha'esh al hamizbeach tukad bo lo tikbe ve'avor alecha hakohen etzim baboker ve'areach alecha ha'olah ve'hiktir alecha chalvei hashlamim esh tamid tukad al hamizbeah lo tichbe. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the ritual of the burnt offering. The burnt offering itself shall come from what is burned upon the altar all night until the morning, while the fire on the altar is kept going on it. The priest shall dress in fine linen raiment with linen breeches next to his body, and he shall remove the ashes to which the fire has reduced the burnt offering on the altar and place them beside the altar. Then he shall take off his vestments and put on other garments and carry these ashes outside the camp to a pure place. The fire on the altar shall be kept burning, not to go out. Every morning the priest shall feed wood to it, arrange the burnt offering on it, and turn into smoke the fat parts of the offering of well-being. A perpetual fire shall be kept burning on the altar, not to go out." So a few nights ago, I did something that I know I shouldn't do. I picked up my phone just to check one thing. Just one update, just one headline before bed. And of course, one headline became another, and another, and another. War, politics, violence, flooding, anti-Semitism, uncertainty. More analyses, more reaction, more things to worry about. And I could feel it happening in real time. My chest got tighter, my mind became louder, my spirit got heavier. And yet, I kept scrolling. Because that's the strange trap so many of us live in now. I find myself teeter-tottering between two anxieties. There's the anxiety of seeing all of the news, and there's the anxiety I feel when I don't know what's going on. If I look, I get overwhelmed. But if I do not look, I feel irresponsible. If I pay attention, I become overwhelmed, inundated. If I step away, I worry that I'm missing something that I should know. Perhaps some of us know that feeling as well. We live in a moment of constant alerts, constant headlines, constant urgency. And it can begin to feel like faithfulness means staying plugged in all the time. Like caring means never looking away. Like responsibility means carrying the whole burning world around in our pocket. And into that reality comes our parashah. Tzav is not a flashy parashah. It's not dramatic. There are no miracles. It's a parashah all about routine and repetition, about the daily work of tending the altar. The priest rises each morning, clears the ashes, lays the wood, and the fire keeps burning. Again and again, day after day, the same sacred work. And maybe that is exactly the Torah that we need right now. Because our parashah reminds us that holiness isn't built around constant reaction, it's built on rhythm. The Torah says that the fire on the altar must be kept burning continually. But we notice here, it's not a wildfire, it's not chaos, it's not fire out of control, it's tended fire, bounded fire, a sacred fire. But as we know, not every fire is holy. There is indeed fire that warms and illumines, but there's also fire that devours. There is the fire of compassion, but there are also the fires of panic. There can be a fire of righteous moral concern, but there can also be a fire of endless agitation. And that distinction matters, because so much of modern life trains us to live inside unholy fire, to remain inflamed, to stay activated, to be constantly updated, constantly alarmed, constantly on edge. And I know that pull personally. When I doom scroll, it is not because I do not care, it is because I care deeply. It's because I know that our world is fragile. It's because part of me feels that if I read just one more article, one more update, one more analysis, perhaps I will feel more prepared. Maybe I will feel in control. Maybe I will feel less afraid. But as we know, that's usually not what happens. What happens is that my attention narrows, my anxiety rises, my spirit shrinks. I stop tending what is holy and start feeding what is urgent. And there is a difference. Research on doom scrolling has found that it is associated with anxiety, fear, and what psychologists call an intolerance of uncertainty. That phrase stayed with me, an intolerance of uncertainty, because maybe that's exactly what so many of us are struggling with. We simply cannot bear not knowing. We can't bear that gap between what is happening and what will happen next. So we scroll, we refresh, we search, we consume. We keep reaching for certainty, and instead, we come away overwhelmed. Our parashah speaks to that human tendency. The holy priest did not begin the day by chasing the newest thing. The priest began by tending to the most enduring thing. He removed the ashes, he laid the wood, and he kept the flame alive. There's wisdom in that. Because if we do not choose what we will tend, the world will choose for us. If we do not decide what deserves our attention will be taken from us. If we do not build sacred rhythms, then the loudest voices become the ones that shape our souls. And the loudest voices are rarely the holiest ones. That is a part of what Jewish life is trying to save us from. Judaism gives us a rhythm in a world of chaos. It gives us Shabbat every week, whether we are ready or not. It gives us daily blessings to interrupt our autopilot. It gives us the practice of prayer to recenter us. And it gives us Torah to stretch our attention beyond the latest crisis. It also gives us community so that we do not bear this world alone. Judaism does not say do not care, but rather care in a way that keeps your soul alive. That is the difference. Because there's a real difference about caring and being consumed. There is a difference between being informed and being spiritually flooded. There is a difference between attention and captivity. And I think Tzav is asking us a hard but holy question. What fire are you feeding? What do you return to each day? What are you tending? Because whatever we tends to shape us in return. If we begin each morning with panic, panic becomes a kind of prayer. If every quiet moment gets handed over to the headlines, urgency becomes our liturgy. If every anxious feeling sends us back to the screen, the algorithm begins to disciple us more than the Torah does. But Tzav says, tend a different fire. Tend that fire of presence. Tend that fire of discipline. Tend that fire of prayer. Spread that fire of compassion. And build the fire that helps you remain human in an inhuman time. This is one of the quiet gifts of Shabbat, because Shabbat is a refusal to live in endless reaction. Shabbat says that the world will keep shouting, but I do not have to let it own every corner of my soul. Shabbat says I can set that phone down, and I can tend a different fire. I can listen for something older and steadier than the noise around me. And I can remember that my soul belongs not to panic, but to the divine. Now, I will say, I do not say this as someone who has mastered these skills. I do say it as someone who struggles with it, as someone who knows that uneasy in between too much information and not enough, as someone who knows the pull of the scroll and the fear of stepping away, as someone who needs this parasha too. Maybe that's what I love, what Parashat Tzav asks of us. It asks simply for practice. Begin again in the morning. Clear away the ash, lay down a piece of wood, and tend a sacred flame. That's enough to begin. So our invitation this Shabbat is not to know everything, not to react to everything, not to carry everything. Rather, our invitation is this: do not let the fire of panic be the only fire burning in you. Feed that fire of wisdom, tend that fire of presence, build that fire of love, feel the fire of Torah, and feed that fire that makes you more compassionate and more grounded. Our Torah says that fire must be kept burning, but it does not have to be the fire of fear. So may this Shabbat help us to set down what scorches the soul, and may it teach us again how to tend what is holy. And may the Holy One help us keep alive that fire that illumines but does not consume. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. At this time, we call to mind all of those who are in need of healing. In our community, we are praying for a number of individuals at this time. Barbara Bergman, Susan Brovler, Leslie Brown, Christina DeSuvic, Maggie Ingebretson, Barbara Esmond, Joel Esmond, Bill Fisherman, Sue Gupta, Nancy Halevi, Linda Rose Herman, Marcus Hyman, Judith Hyman, Mark Justin, Marcia Katz, Aidan Kozlovich, Lee Kurth, Mel Lang, Herbert Latner, Stuart Libby, Nancy Lipset, Rebecca Magana, Gordon Matsuoka, Claudia Mendoza, Arjuan Meredith, Mitzi Mild, Nina Morgan, Stuart Novick, Paula Perry, Martha Randolph, Jennifer Reed, Bonnie Richmond, Wendy Robbins, Patricia Sarles, Arlene Siegel, Jeffrey Snyder, Noah Tobinkin, Mike Trask, Keith Turo, Butch Ugren, Gerald Umeda, Harriet Weissman, Robert Wolf, Cheryl Wolf, Ruth Yothabetz, and Kathy Zane. If you are praying for someone or someones, I will invite you to please share their names with us now. I will add to that list my Aunt Sandy Cheryl. Of course, we're also praying for everyone who has been affected by the flooding and the recent storms, as well as our soldiers serving overseas. We'll join together in the words of Misha Berach, which can be found on page 371 or page 253. Sending a refuah shlema to all of those names mentioned here, all of those names we're holding in our hearts. Amen. I'm going to invite us all to please rise again as we return our Torah to the Ark. It is my pleasure to invite up Chris Ledoux, who will be helping me as we dress our Torah. We're going to be joining together as I lift our Torah on page 370 at the bottom with the words Vezot HaTorah. We will then turn to page 374 with its Chaim Hi. You may be seated, and it is my pleasure to invite up Josh Wish, who has some announcements for us.
Is that better? Can you hear me now? I'm like a live T-Mobile ad. I appreciate that. And Rabbi, I was thinking, it just so often your talks make me just have little thoughts pop into my head, and I had two different sayings going through my head during your talk. One is the teaching from the 1960s of if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. The other is the teaching from anyone who's ever been on a flight, which is put on your own oxygen mask first, or you can't help anyone. So it always does seem like it's an effort to try to balance those two in the right configuration. So thank you very much, Rabbi. So just a few announcements. One, we don't have the typical Torah study tomorrow, but that's because we have a more atypical Torah study tomorrow, with great thanks to Kevin for... And I know Kevin has got to be excited that tonight was just a preview and tomorrow is the main event. So please come and join Kevin and his family as he is called to the Torah tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning, with doors opening at 10 a.m. Looking ahead to a few other things, hard to believe, but Passover is just around the corner, right? Yes. I was going to try to make a joke about matzah, but I couldn't get there in time. My joke hadn't risen yet. Yeah, thank you. I got one up. Appreciate that. I see you. So join us for the annual Community Seder, an evening of ritual storytelling celebration led by our own wonderful rabbi, followed by a catered meal. It's Thursday, April 2nd at 6 p.m. I can't believe that's actually next week. Doors opening at 5:30. Early bird pricing has now ended, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think registration is still open. And we will accept card or cash at the door. If costs a barrier for anyone, please reach out to the rabbi. We are also looking for charoset captains. If you would like to bring charoset for your table and add a little sweetness to the Seder, of course, beyond just the general sweetness that's already inside of you, then please email the temple. And if anyone wants to bring a little, bitterness beyond the bitter herbs, if you've got any of that inside of you, that's welcome as well. We know those two things go great together. Also, as we're getting ready for a wonderful meal, which will be part of the Passover Seder, it's also a good reminder that we are still collecting donations in support of the Hawaii Food Bank. Most needed items, as always, do include monetary donations, in addition to canned proteins, meals, fruits, vegetables. I always remind folks that if you are able to give a donation, the reason why that is preferred is because the food bank is able to use economies of scale, and the dollar that you give will go further with them than it would with just your own dollar. At Safeway, just $10 provides 21 meals. And of course, in light of recent events, that kind of support is even more important than ever. Also, please join us for tonight's Oneg After Services, which, with great thanks, is being sponsored by the Son family, again, in honor of Kevin's bar mitzvah. One more time. Thank you. And after the Oneg, if you could help us out with just a couple of things. We do try to close the temple gates at around 9 when security leaves, so keep a little bit of an eye on the clock. And then also, when you're done, if you can help us clean up around the tables, that helps out a lot as well. It makes things a lot easier for the professional staff that we've got here. With that, I will turn it back over to the rabbi. Thanks so much, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
I'm going to invite us all to please rise again as we turn to Emanu on page 586. Yes. Page 586 or page 282. Page 586. Here. Alenu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer reshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. At this time, we call to mind all of those who have passed recently or in seasons past. May God continue to grant comfort to the loved ones of Phyllis Sondland, Jean Hinken-Jones, Don Cable, Stan Zatz, and Michael Zaltzman. At this time, we are remembering the yard sites of Abraham Whitman, Albert L. Apter, Alfred L. Baker, Amy Rubin, Anna Adler, Ann Rosen, Arnold Witter, Charles Chuck Stomka, David Naft, Ellen Gamberg, Ethel Yarmo, Gertrude Buddy Gerson, Goldie Palmer, Helen Oschen, Henry Sterling, Erwin Schatz, Jack Siegel, Jamie Heather Gerson Smith, Lee Borden. If it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, I will invite you to do so. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598 or page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra hirute v'hamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabah mevarach le'alam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit halei, v'yit halal, shmei dekudasha brihu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam Levracham, may their memories be for a blessing. I'm going to invite us all to make our way into the aisle. We're going to send you all out with a little bit of peace with Osei Shalom. If folks are comfortable, if your neighbor's comfortable, maybe put your arms around one another. You can hold hands. We'll join together in the words of Osei Shalom. Come down here.
Osei Shalom bimromav. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Woo! Yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la. Yara la 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 la, yara la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la, yara la 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 la, yara la 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 la. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Woo! Yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la.
As we prepare for Kiddush and Motzi, again, we want to say many thanks to the Sonohana for sponsoring tonight's oneg in honor of Kevin's bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
And we will join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hangafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon kinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim kivanu vaharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat l'chaim. Pencil that down. All right. Now, our resident challah maven is not here today, but she made
look at
a
that.
beautiful challah for you. It has your name on it. Do you want to hold that? Yes, let's get a picture
It's
of that.
Irish.
All right, let's join together in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Please join us in the back for Oneg. And again, please join us tomorrow morning for Kevin's bar mitzvah.
Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ay, lai, la, lai.